It's happy hour here at Darlington, and Joe Allen, who's only qualified 39th today, is looking to put in some good practice laps, I say, as his engine decides to quit on him before he can even round the racetrack to start a lap. So yeah, if qualifying 39th wasn't enough of an indication that this might not be a good weekend for Joe Allen, that might be. Meanwhile, a driver who has been putting in some good laps and has qualified second this weekend is the GOAT. As you can see, he's posted the fastest time of the session. Here he is behind Ebrahimi, and Özkan setting a second fastest lap. Very close to the GOAT. They're within the same 10th position place thing. And oh, that's him spinning into Ebrahimi, and Ebrahimi gets off pretty scot-free, and that's the GOAT spinning round. And fortunately, the racing line is up at the top of the track there, so nobody was in danger of piling into him. But yeah, as you can see, Özkan coming in within 17 thousandths of a second of the GOAT's fastest lap in happy hour. Steve Morgan managed to qualify with a 29.4 second lap time, beating the GOAT by 2 tenths. So, yeah, okay. That's right. The GOAT, who took out Steve Morgan in the previous race, which was looking like a very good run for Morgan, has to start alongside him. I see no way that could go wrong. Hello everyone, it's Hanafuda, and I'd like to welcome you to Darlington Raceway for the Carolina Dodge Dealers 474 laps around this rather recognizable oval track. It's shaped more like an egg, of course. The story goes that the builder of the track didn't want to disturb the position of a swan pond, I believe it was. So he decided to give it the recognizable egg shape that we know it for today. Of course, turns 1 and 2 are a little more steeply banked and have a wider radius than turns 3 and 4, which can definitely cause some problems for the drivers, especially with their setup. They have to basically be prepared for both types of turns, and they have to be tackled quite differently compared to standard oval. Of course, you can say the same about tri-ovals and quad ovals. Turns 1 and 2 are different than turns 3 and 4 for a variety of reasons. But yeah, Darlington is definitely the most unique out of the ovals on the NASCAR calendar. Of course, there are tracks like Phoenix with its dogleg, and Pocono, which is a triangle. But yeah, we'll just get straight into the action. Steve Morgan on pole alongside the GOAT. Of course, the GOAT turned Morgan into the wall at Atlanta, took him out of the race. So Morgan starts on pole today next to, well, his teammate, but possibly more like an enemy. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how they behave themselves up at the front of the field today. Second row, we have Joey Trickle and S.p.A. We've got Patrick Smith and Gil Samaya in the third row. We got Eli Wolf and Samit Özkan. We got Reggie Fogelman and Eric Monaco. Bob and Flobo, Daniel Voiles, Ashley Schoenewald, your Daytona 500 winner. Christian Bracken, R.U. Tyke, Mathis Wells, Sabrina Footlego, Jana Fogelman, Harry Langestein, Leroy Jenkins, Annie Thomas, Matthew Burnett, Riley Spurley, Antonin Charlebois, Chris Harvey, Amy Hicks, Reagan Whitlock, Colin Cropley, Mo Zane, Rocky Johnson, Lyle Austin, Montero Salin, Lucas Evans, Adalberto Franco, Dylan Ebrahimian, Brittany White, Max Davis, Agata Sato, and rounding out the field, Joe Allen and Gerald Pepper. So again, 74 laps. Of course, this is the Carolina Dodge Dealers 400, but the best qualifying Dodge in the field so far is Samit Özkan, who starts 7th today. In front of him are 3 Ford Tauruses and 3 Monte Carlos. There's a Monte Carlo alongside him as well, so Dodge is definitely going to have to put in a lot of effort if they want to win this race and not suffer the embarrassment of having a Chevy, Pontiac, or Ford in victory lane today. Obviously, Chevy and Ford seem most likely to drive their car into victory lane. But yeah, this was obviously a bit of a difficult race for me. Obviously, I put in a lot of practice because I know Darlington's a difficult track. But you'll just see how well I do. Put in my best effort, all that stuff. I'm making this video after, having to read a comment from Frank Cuperis, whose drivers in the series are, I think they're Samaya, PK, and Sato, right? But yeah, he was like, oh, is it really that fair for you to be driving against the AI? And, hopefully you guys agree, if you're watching this, that, it's alright if I do. Obviously, this is one of my favorite games. Last month when I was finally able to play it after almost 5 years, I was really excited. But yeah, obviously I want to be really good at this game, like improve myself, drive well, all that stuff, because it's a lot of fun, and I want to be able to win races, obviously. So yeah, if I crash off Morgan again, so be it. Green flag is out. We are underway here at Darlington. Morgan with a good start on the outside. The goat following closely behind Joey Trickle and Gil Samaya, the 2 Jasper Motorsports Ford cars, going well into the turns as well so far. Here they come, piling out of turns 1 and 2 again. Wide. Oh, that's the goat into the wall. Ooh, bit of contact with Trickle there. Oh yes, rubbing and racing these two. The stuff we're used to at Darlington. That's Morgan into the wall along with the goat. The goat gets into Samaya. PK gets a little nudge as well. Lots of damage to Steve Morgan's car, and that's him falling back into the field. No caution, but oh yeah, there's no love lost between these 2 drivers of the Good Wrench Chevys today. Joey Trickle takes the lead, I believe. Samit Özkan's following closely behind. Monaco takes 3rd spot. Estacio PK 4th now. Gil Samaya up into 5th. Oh, that's the goat hard into the wall again. Fighting with Footlego and Tyke here. Morgan close behind. The goat's into the wall. Morgan's going to get past him. Flobo could have a look. Bit of contact with the goat and Flobo there. Rubbing and racing as usual for the number 3 car here. But it seems like everything's dope now. The goat finds himself back in 11th spot. Steve Morgan down to 10th. Again, the 2 Good Wrench Chevys who started on the front row now finding themselves all the way back in the field there, fighting for the top 10 spots. Joey Trickle with a decent lead here on Samit Özkan and Eric Monaco. So now there are 2 Dodges in the top 3, which is well good for the Dodge dealers, of course. Looks like the GOAT has managed to take his position back from Morgan there. He will have 10th spot, no problem at all. Morgan's definitely not going to be pleased, but he's still got a race to run. Leroy Jenkins up into 12th place, I believe. Bob and Flobo sliding through turn 1 there. You can see the car's rear end stepping out. Very nice stuff there. Managing to keep good control here. You do need sort of a loose setup in order to tackle both pairs of turns here at Darlington. The GOAT having a look at Sabrina Footlego's position now. Things seem to have single filed out here. It's kind of following close behind Trickle as he was in the previous race here. I bet Trickle's not all too pleased with that. Again, the car's stepping out rear end wise as they enter turn 1. If anybody's noticed, I have a new microphone. It's same brand as the previous one, Insignia. I got new speakers as well, and I'm having to listen to the audio through the speakers, to be honest. So maybe hopefully that doesn't get picked up by the microphone. Obviously, I'm hoping that the recording goes off without a hitch here. Otherwise, I might just have to re-record this video. If you're watching this on YouTube, that obviously hasn't happened. Monaco managing to catch up to Özkan here. The thing with my computer is that the sound has never quite worked properly. The goats managed to get past both Taiki and Lego, which is nice. Is that what was I gonna say? Ever since the beginning, trying to use standard speakers using the auxiliary jacks, or even the left and right, sort of headphone jacks on the motherboard, has produced sound where the left speaker doesn't come out as nicely as the right one. The goat managed to get past Christian Bracken for 7th position there. So yeah, the left speaker was always much quieter than the right one, and I found it really difficult to use that balance. With Bluetooth headphones like the Beats I have, it doesn't have the same problem. The audio balance is just fine. So I bought this pair of Insignia Bluetooth speakers, and unfortunately they have the same problem, but I'm actually able to adjust the balance with the audio. I think I have to do that every time I turn the speakers on, to be honest. At least I have to unplug and plug it back in, and the balance will end up sorting itself out because, like when I turned them on today, the left speaker just didn't turn on at all. What happened here? The goat managed to get by Samaya, and now Samaya is looking under pressure from Lego. Patrick Smith making a move on S.p.A for 4th spot, and the goat's right behind. The goat looking to make it 3 wide down the front stretch. Can he get past Patrick Smith? Yes, he can. Smith has to slide out of the way, and he looks vulnerable once again to PK. So yeah, what was I saying? Yeah, so I have to listen to the audio out of speakers, because that brings me to another problem. I tried switching to the Beats to record this video, and the game audio wasn't coming out of it. So I had to switch back to the speakers. So again, hopefully you don't pick up the speakers. But yeah, with a little bit of fiddling, I managed to get the speakers to give me nice balanced audio. It wasn't really worth the $40. I still got the plastic on them, so I might end up returning them, but I don't know. I can make this work. That's the moral of the story here. Trickle managing to eke out a gap between himself and Özkan. Monaco following close behind. Let's have a quick look through your running order here. Obviously, we can do that with the ticker tape. Tickers? I don't know. Joey Trickle leads the race on lap 11. So he's just led lap 10, more specifically. Samet Özkan's running 2nd. Erica Monaco has 3rd place. The goat is in 4th. Patrick Smith has 5th. Christian Bracken has 6th from Gil Samaya. Stasio Piquet falling back to 8th. Leroy Jenkins in 9th, I believe. Yes, Lego's lost 2 positions as well. So Taiki is the last of your top 10 drivers right now. Lego's in 11th. Bob and Flobo runs 12th. Charlotte Bois 13th. Wolf is 14th. Steve Morgan jostling with Chris Harvey for 15th spot there. Matthew Burnett and Daniel Voiles for 17th. Mathis Wells 19th, and 20th is Jana Fogelman. And then we're dealing with Annie Thomas, Reggie Fogelman, Colin Cropley, Riley Spurley, Ashley Shadavald, Harry Langestein, Mo Zane, who appears to have shipped a few positions himself, Agata Sato, the 2 Ganassi cars here of Whitlock and Hicks. There's Evans, Abrahamian, Austin Franco. And at the back of the field, there are Max Davis, Montero Salin, Joe Allen, Rocky Johnson, 4 Dodges, not having a good time at the Dodge Dealers 400. Brittany White's in 39th, and Gerald Pepper is in last place, as usual. Looks like Patrick Smith has managed to gazump 4th from the goat there. The goat clearly not feeling too comfortable in that car. We completely missed out on what was, I'm certain, a very good overtake. Spoiler alert, I just hit the wall, and he hit the wall again, the goat. Drew that turn there, so he's going to want 4th place back, no doubt. Gil Samaya making the move. 6th place, Estacio Piquet and Leroy Jenkins also managing to get their way past Christian Bracken. She's not having a good time down that front stretch through turns 1 and 2. She hasn't, I mean. Now she's under pressure from 2 Roush cars here. Arya Taiki files in front. Sabrina Futlego looking on the inside for what looks to be 10th spot. Yep. Oh dear. Not a good time for Christian Bracken here. Good times possibly for Leroy Jenkins, making a absolute worldie of a move down the inside. Obviously has better entry to that corner. Estacio Piquet slides up the banking in turns 1 and 2 and loses position to Arya Taiki as well. Yeah, Christian Bracken down into 11th spot. Sabrina Futlego comfortably in 10th for now. The GOAT looking like he's under pressure from Gil Samaya for 5th position here. Patrick Smith beginning to create a gap between himself and the GOAT. But he has what's looking like a much larger gap between himself and Monaco in third spot. Özkan right in front of Monaco. Trickle still managing to hold a bit of a gap between himself and the two Dodge cars here. Who knows how long that will last. Leroy Jenkins definitely wanting to make a move on Gil Samaya, it looks like. Again, I realize I've been using the same vocabulary in all these races, but I mean, if you think about people who have been, you know, commentating on races for 20 years, like, who are those guys at Fox? Whatever. Leroy Jenkins. If a Leroy Jenkins move on Gil Samaya, who gets absolutely unsettled and once again loses position not only to Jenkins but also Taiki. PK looking like he's going to make up some stuff here. Christian Bracken following close behind Sabrina Fulega. Wants 10th spot back, obviously. PK files into 9th again, but Samaya is down to 8th here. Wonder if RU Taiki has the gall to make a move on Leroy Jenkins. Obviously one of the most aggressive drivers you can imagine. As long as he's got his chicken, all is well with the world, and with his gaming ability. Trickle still leads the race here. Yeah, we'll just run through the order once again on the side. Özkan and Monaco clearly catching up. That two-car tandem doing a decent job of decreasing drag, it looks like. Because here they are for position and such. All is well with the world. Goat still trying to catch up to Patrick Smith here. Gil Samaya getting back at PK and Taiki here. Taiki, the unlucky driver, sliding up the track in turns 1 and 2. Yeah, so Bracken still in 11th, still looking for an opportunity to get back at Futlego here. This kind of looks like it was the previous position order from before, except Leroy Jenkins is now leading this pack of the 6th through 10th, 11th place cars specifically. Is that correct? Yep, 6 cars right there. Is the gonna slam into the wall again, and leave some paint and bits of his car right behind him at the exit of turn 2. Obviously not having a very good time trying to handle this car around Darlington Raceway. Who can say that he can? Trickle obviously looking very comfortable in the lead here. But he's having to approach Gerald Pepper now. The slowest car on the field, rather perennially, I have to say. Yeah. Just not having a great time this season so far, Gerald Pepper. He did finish 2nd at Daytona, but that is a super speedway race. So, raw power matters not nearly as much as drafting ability and speed on those super speedways with restrictor plates. Now it looks like he's going to be holding up the top 3 here. Joey Trickle's going to want to waste no time making a move to get past him. Monaco looking at Özkan for 2nd spot now, taking advantage of Pepper slowing this top 3 down. He has the edge exiting turn 4 here. Özkan's going to beat him to the line, though. He's going to manage to hold his position very briefly down the front stretch here into turn 1 once again. Joey Trickle, Eric Monaco making the move once again. Özkan with not nearly as good of an entry through that turn there. Monaco's going to take 2nd place here and now have a look at the lead. Joey Trickle's going to have a look at getting past Pepper. Özkan's going to take advantage, running too wide through the turn there. Özkan's managed to going to get past both Monaco and Pepper here. Now Monaco getting slowed up by Pepper now. Özkan back into 2nd place, which is good news, of course, for the Carolina Dodge dealers who want nothing more than to sell some Dodge RTs once this race is over. Those are Chargers, right? I don't know. Goat carrying a lot of speed, exiting turn 2 there. Again, he wants 4th place back from Patrick Smith here. That's Özkan into the pits. Özkan into the pits very early in this race. Something must have gone wrong with his car there. But that's Özkan dropping out of 2nd place in this race. Again, not good news for the Carolina Dodge dealers, especially again if they want to sell some Dodge Chargers, possibly even some Challengers and Ram trucks. I know nothing about that. Seriously, that was a Dodge Charger, right, in 2003? So yeah, Joey Trickle has himself a comfortable lead here. Eric Monaco's running 2nd. Patrick Smith still in 3rd. And that's the goat sending Pepper into the wall. Let's have a look at that replay here. Heading into turn 3, the goat just nudges Gerald Pepper, sends him out of his way. Pepper into the wall. And yeah, the slowest car on track so far. Just, yeah, okay. Oof. Not a good time for him. He gets lapped by Samaya, Jenkins, PK, and Bracken. So Samaya able to get his way past Leroy Jenkins there. Obviously, he has to be deathly afraid of Jenkins coming back to haunt him. That's the goat into the wall again. Looking very unsettled as he dives below the white dashed line, which is where the banking is, fundamentally. Okay, he's still looking at Patrick Smith here. We're going to ride on board with the goat for a moment. I realized we were supposed to be looking at the order, but I forgot as usual. Oh dear, the goat's engine is gone. The goat has gone up in smoke here. No caution. Is that the goat's day over? Something's gone wrong with his car now. Just as we were about to ride on board with him. Yeah, the goat is losing power. He can't get any gas to the engine there. Yeah, that default red race suit is kind of weird. Yep, he's lost power. That looks like a fatal problem for the goat. He's going to have to get towed back to the pits there. Will he be back in this race? We will soon find out. I bet Morgan will be very pleased to find out that the goat has suffered this misfortune from his lowly place back in 14th position, it looks like. We'll run through your field again on lap 28. Joey Trickle still leads the field. Monaco wants to catch up. Patrick Smith has 3rd. Gil Samaya 4th. Leroy Jenkins 5th. We've got PK, Bracken, Taiki, Footlego, and Voiles the last of your top 10. Voiles finally running in a good position for once. Charlebois, Flobo, Wolf, Harvey, Wells, Morgan, Thomas, Burnett, Fogelman, and Fogelman again. Looks like the last of your top 20 here. Riley Spurley in 21st position. So Jana Fogelman again finally having a good time. Again, they're having to get past Gerald Pepper. These cars in the bottom half of the top 20, basically, but it looks like they're having a much easier time. Pepper's car looks really unsettled here. Lots of damage to the right side and rear end, of course. I bet he's not particularly pleased with the goat either, but what does the goat care? Pepper, as far as he's concerned, is just a weirdo on the internet who's a bit too into Toho for all the wrong reasons. Eli Wolf having a look at Bob and Flobo's rear end here. Not for anything silly or dirty. Certainly not anything that would be unsafe for work. It's a Christian channel, this one, obviously. Being nice and family friendly here. Footlego managed to get by his teammate Taiki again. These two Roush cars always performing, you know, decently well in these races. Monaco's still having a look at Joey Trickle here. Went through rotor once more. Everybody to see. Yeah, that's Monaco following very closely behind. Again, you must have all of the Dodge dealers in North and South Carolina on their feet right now. Of course, there are 43 laps left in this contest. Again, one of the most difficult racetracks in NASCAR, and it looks like it was a bit too difficult for the GOAT and his engine. We'll find out how he's doing. Can the GOAT get that damage replaced, leaving a lot of smoke out there in pit lane? That must not be very good for his crew or the NASCAR official assigned to his pit stall. The GOAT has retired from the race, ladies and gentlemen. The GOAT is out of this race. What a crying shame. How unfortunate. Bad fortune, of course, for Simon Özkan as well, who came into the pits early, clearly had some problem with the car. Unless this is a master plan of some kind, where he's wanting to run a long stint, because everybody else, I believe, will end up having to pit for fuel. Again, it's one of those races where a splash is needed. At least I needed a splash, apparently. But, yeah. If you're watching this far, my engine blew up. I think it's because I put on too much grill tape. It wasn't even reaching, you know, like a critical mass, I don't think. A critical mass. I don't really think that the water temperature was getting too high. I thought, you know, once it reached 260, everything would just go to hell. But, yeah, it was reaching 240. The light was on, obviously. And, yeah, had a good time. Unfortunate for me, but I'm sure Frank Kuperis will be very happy about that, to know that I'm not affecting the outcome of this race any more than I possibly could have back when I was actually in the race. Of course, I always could just restart, re-record, all that good stuff. Approaching the halfway point of this race here, and Eric Monaco still not finding the time to go for the decisive move on Joey Trickle. So Joey Trickle still leads this race, and I think he's looking very good for capturing the extra 5 points for most laps led. Showing your order once again at the right. We'll run through the order real fast here. Yeah, so Simon Özkan and Gerald Pepper are 1 lap down. The GOAT has retired from the race with what we can confirm was a piston failure, which is fine for me because I need to still learn about pistons in my engineering classes. Look at Patrick Smith catching up to these top 2. Run through your order once more. So Trickle still leads. He's followed by Monaco, Smith, Samaya, Jenkins, PK, Bracken, Footlego, Taiki, and Daniel Voiles. Charbois still in 11th. Looks like Bob and Floba has lost 12th to both Eli Wolf and 13th to Chris Harvey. Yeah. So, Matthew Burnett's 15th, Jana Fogelman 16th, Steve Morgan still suffering in 17th spot there despite having started on pole. Yeah, he's down there thanks to the GOAT's actions. Frank Kuperis, I bet Squiggle's not particularly pleased with that either. Andy Thomas 18th, Reggie Fogelman 19th, Mathis Wells 20th. But Simon Özkan with a dive down to get past these cars here. Again, they're not for position, but Mathis Wells clearly unsettled enough to get overtaken by Riley Spurley. Simon Özkan looking to unlap himself from Reggie Fogelman. Obviously has a lot of work to do if he wants to get back on the lead lap from, well, Joey Trickle, no doubt. But he's slowly but surely making his way up the field here. Eli Wolf catching up to Antonin Charlebois, so it won't be too much of a surprise if he manages to get past him for 11th position. Daniel Voiles is running comfortably in 10th. The 2 Roush cars, Taiki and Footlego, again trading positions left, right, and center here. Looks like Patrick Smith is able to take 2nd place from Monaco. Let's have a replay of that. Overtakes of the week, I think. Coming into turn 3 on lap 39 there. Making the move stick, Eric Monaco unable to shut the door on Patrick Smith. So Patrick Smith makes his way into 2nd spot, and again, bad times for the Dodge dealers of North and South Carolina, no doubt. Smith locks himself into 2nd place here, and now Joey Trickle's going to have to be worrying about him for the race lead here. Monaco falling back to 3rd. Can he make a comeback in this race? Again, we're past the halfway point. And again, these cars will eventually have to pit for fuel at the very least, and tires most likely as well. Not sure if we'll ever see any really crazy strategy decisions such as taking only 2 tires. Obviously the right tires are the ones that they'll be desiring most because those wear out much more quickly. Obviously I think in a real race you'd have 1 pit stop at one point with right side tires only, and then possibly another with left side tires only, or a full 4 tire pit stop. I haven't run a race long enough for that to be an issue here. Here comes Patrick Smith down the front stretch on Joey Trickle's inside into turn 1. Gerald Pepper again holding these cars up there. Monaco taking advantage. He gets past Joey Trickle finally, but Patrick Smith has the lead now. Eric Monaco to the inside. Patrick Smith having to deal with Gerald Pepper. Can he get down in time to hold off Monaco? He can. Monaco able to get past Gerald Pepper's stricken car as well. Can Joey Trickle do the same? Looks like he's not going to have much issue, but Joey Trickle losing 2 positions. Most importantly, the lead to Patrick Smith. Eric Monaco taking 2nd from him. Gerald Pepper's getting lapped very easily again. Unfortunate. But now we're going to look at the lapped cars of Joe Allen, Brittany White, and Rocky Johnson here. Well, they're not lapped yet, but they will be soon. Again, Özkan only 1 lap down, trying to make his way back up the field. He obviously has a very strong car, but it's not going to do him much good if he can't get his lap back, especially when the leaders come into pit. Again, this might be Özkan's strategy, so maybe he did not have a problem with his car at all. I have no idea. Um, this is probably the part where I should admit that I'm basically running this race, in a sense, live. I could very well just skip through the laps here, considering that possibly there's a lot of you who skipped to the last 5 minutes of this video just to see where you finished. You don't actually watch the races, which makes me sad. But yeah, obviously I didn't have a reason to wait till the end of this race before I started recording, so I don't actually know what happens. Smith and Monaco both able to make their way past Joe Allen, who we remember having problems in happy hour, called his engine blew up before he could start a lap. Not great for him, obviously. Brittany White also about to be lapped here. Rocky Johnson as well. Johnson, usually a runner-up in the top of the field in the previous 4 races, obviously did not have nearly as good a day again. So yeah, really not good stuff for the Dodge cars in this race. Monaco's back in second, but now he's getting held up by White and Johnson, which gives Patrick Smith ample opportunity to build up that gap. Just so long as he can get past Colin Cropley here. My stomach is growling. Patrick Smith dives down to make a pit stop here. Monaco's going to stay out. So Patrick Smith into the pits. We're going to have to find out if, Özkan's going to be able to get past him. More importantly, will he be able to come out back in front of Eric Monaco? There's Özkan right there. Of course, Özkan is a lap down, but can he get back out in time? Look at Joey Trickle in the pits there. I completely forgot about him. Jenkins and Smith exiting now. Reggie Fogelman receiving both sets of tires, I believe. Flobo's out of the pits. There's Gil Samaya, Mathis Wells, Reggie Fogelman again, Estacio Pique, Christian Brackett. So a lot of your race leaders out in the pits here. Lyle Austin had a very slow stop, I believe, and he was at the back of the field. Steve Morgan into the pits now. So yeah, it's going to get very sketchy here, trying to figure out who's leading this race. But is Monaco into the pits yet? Where is he? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Monaco into the pits. Almost running right into Daniel Voiles. They're contacting Voiles. I bet he's not going to be pleased at all with the Budweiser car driver there. We have a caution. There's a caution out. Not sure what that's for. Is there a smoky car somewhere? Oh dear! Patrick Smith running into Reggie Fogelman. Mathis Wells' car is smoking. Is that Patrick Smith's run over? What an absolute disaster here. What has gone wrong? Rocky Johnson trying to dive in to make a pit stop. Bob and Flobo run straight into her. Those cars are massively in the way in turn 3 there. Mathis Wells and Reggie Fogelman, who had just completed their pit stops, running into both of them. Gerald Pepper managing to get by without much incident. But where's Patrick Smith? I thought Patrick Smith was involved. There he... Oh, dear. Oh, no. Patrick Smith's day is definitely over. It kind of looked like he was coming into the pits again or trying to avoid this accident here. He quite clearly did not do a very good job. Patrick Smith, artificial stupidity, ruling the day. Runs straight into Reggie Fogelman's car. Patrick Smith out of this. Gil Samaya out of this race as well. What is happening here at Darlington Raceway? Artificial stupidity taking over in full force. We're going to have to be taking a very close look at turns 3 and 4 to see if anything else of note happens here. But lots of front runners now out of this race, and is that Özkan back up in the lead? It must be, surely. Oh my. Where's Monaco in this mess? Monaco not having much incident. Morgan having to come back into the pits. Montero Salin? Not Montero Salin. That is Steve Morgan as well, right? No, Steve Morgan passing the pace car. Not sure what that's about. Rocky Johnson on pit road. Samaya, Fogelman, White, Sato. Has Patrick Smith retired from this race? Patrick Smith has indeed retired from this race. There was pretty much no way he was coming back into this one. Ashley Shadova looking a little bit suspicious following the pace car here. Appears that she's on the lead lap, but Samet Özkan in second. Samet Özkan, was he unable to make up his lap here? It's a bit strange. Fogelman still rounding the track here. There's Gerald Pepper into the pits once again. Clearly something up with his car. Was he serving a stop-go? Was he serving a drive-through penalty? Fogelman has retired from the race here. Let's take a check at Samaya. He's out of this race. Rocky Johnson out. How about Bob and Flobo, the man who started this incident with Johnson? Flobo also out of this race. Multiple cars out of the race in turns 3 and 4. What an absolute mess that was. Lap 50 here, and when we restart, is Özkan going to be the race leader? Where is Monaco? Monaco's being scored as the race leader here, but he's at the back of the field, along with Steve Morgan. Amy Hicks into the pits. Özkan's going to lead the field, but yeah, he's a lap down. That's unusual, no doubt. So, to emphasize, Özkan's going to lead the field, so what we're looking at fundamentally is the race for second place here as we restart on lap 52, because Eric Monaco is starting at the back of the field, but he is being scored as your race leader. I knew that this was going to cause us a lot of issues here. Well, all of Dodge Dealers' Christmases are coming at once. Almost a month late, because Eric Monaco is leading this race despite being at the back of this field on the restart here. Özkan in second, and that's looking good for him. Joey Trickle not having to worry about too much, I don't think. And third, well, more specifically, nobody's going to have to be worrying too much about Joey Trickle. And as far as Dodge is concerned, Ashley Schonewald and Max Davis, despite being in 23rd and 24th, are running at the top of the pack right now, so they'll be able to show us their true power here. Christian Bracken, Monica's teammate, in 5th. Good stuff for her as well. Montero Salin, a lap down here in 25th. But again, a Dodge at the front of the field is a Dodge that Dodge Dealers is going to be very pleased with. There's Joe Allen in front of Daniel Voiles, who's running 9th. Leroy Jenkins, 7th? Sure, these positions will get updated in a moment. Daniel Voiles is being scored as 7th here. Charlebois 8th. Oh, where's 8th? Leroy Jenkins falling behind, so not a good dodge there. Oh dear. Lottie-dum-day. Dum-day. Now Samet Özkan is looking like he's under pressure from Joey Trickle for second spot here. But Eric Monaco's running in a world of his own. 20 laps to go. 19 now? Yes indeed, 19 laps to go for Eric Monaco, who again can be somewhat comfortable at the back of the field. But all these lapped cars around him could pose a legitimate threat. And moreover, he definitely doesn't want Özkan and Trickle to catch up to him. So it's in his best interest to get past these cars. He gives Sato a bit of a nudge there. And there's Morgan, the man who started this race on pole position, languishing in 20th behind Gerald Pepper, who's at least 1 or 2 laps down further than he is. So, yeah, not good stuff for him. Monaco managed to get past Pepper without much of an issue. Now he has a nice screen of at least 4 cars here between himself and Samet Özkan, should he ever successfully catch up. Yeah. Monaco having a look at Riley Spurley on the inside as well. Steve Morgan still in front of him. But, yeah, things sort of settling down here. But, yeah, as you can see, there are quite a few cars that are not on the lead lap. 18 cars left. Eli Wolf having a bad time through turn 1 and 2 there. Going to get passed by Reagan Whitlock. Annie Thomas also looking ready to snap up that position. Dylan Ebrahimian has a car in front who is not fighting for position. Amy Hicks. He might like to involve himself in this battle as well. He's about to get lapped by Eric Monaco, who has managed to get past Steve Morgan, beats him to the line, puts him a lap down. Ebrahimian again next. Last of the lead lap cars here and ready to get lapped by Eric Monaco here. Eli Wolf sliding up the racetrack once again, losing many positions there. Annie Thomas is 15th. Yes, Reagan Whitlock 14th. Matthew Burnett 13th, lapping Lucas Evans. Jenkins is in 12th. Charlebois 11th again. Jana Fogelman up in 10th spot here. Chris Harvey runs 9th. Sabrina Fulego 8th. Colin Cropley is a lap down. Voiles in 7th. Taiki 6th in a number 6. Always like that when that happens. Christian Bracken 5th. Estasio PK 4th. Simon Özkan 3rd. So he lost out in a massive way to Joey Trickle. And again, we completely missed that. Max Davis, Lyle Austin still running 23rd and 24th. Gerald Pepper once again miles away from the field here, following rapidly behind. Steve Morgan again just not having a very good time, finding himself right back behind this pack of cars here. I think he's down in 20th spot, losing 20th to Sato and Franco. Okay, that's what that is looking like. I think Monaco's behind White again. Doesn't quite seem correct. But Monaco's just running his own race. He can be comfortable. Perhaps he might have to worry a little bit about these lapped cars possibly exacting revenge on him, inadvertently or otherwise. But yeah, now Özkan under pressure from Bracken, who's managed to get past both PK. Actually, no. Well, both Bracken and Taiki have managed to get past PK here. Voiles could be having a look. Lego and Harvey fighting for 8th position, I think. That seems correct to me. Also, I realize I've probably been tapping a lot on my keyboard this race. Lego just beating Harvey to the line for 8th spot, but Harvey has the inside into turn 1. Lego sliding up the track, clearly unsettled here. Now he looks vulnerable to Jana Fogelman for 9th position here. Charlebois still running 11th. 11th is quite clearly Charlebois' position. He's always running very close to, but not quite in the top 10, I think. We'll have to look at the standings, obviously, at the end of this race. 5 and 6 fighting for positions 5 and 6. Car number 6 in position 5. Car number 5 back in position 6. Lovely stuff there. Bracken putting Özkan under pressure here. Joey Trickle breaking away from the pack the way he wanted to, but unfortunately for him, it's not for the race lead because, again, in this absolute kerfuffle, Monaco is leading this race. And, well, from his perspective, he's the one who has a massive lead over the rest of the field here. Lapping cars willy-nilly, dealing with more in front of him. Ibrahimian has been lapped, along with Spurley, meaning that there are only 16 cars left on the lead lap. Wolf, the last of them, behind Thomas, who's fighting with Reagan Whitlock. Wolf's going to get past Whitlock as well, who, again, has to slide up the racetrack. Charlebois down to 13th, losing position to both Burnett and Jenkins. Jenkins lapping Colin Cropley here. Burnett to follow closely behind. Charlebois hopefully as well. As long as they don't slide up the racetrack themselves. Don't think there'll be too much incident there. So Lego down in 10th spot, having lost position to Jana Fogelman. Chris Harvey in 8th. Daniel Willis 7th. Aryu Taiki back in 6th. Özkan suffering here. So Bracken's up to 3rd, I believe. Yep. And now PK's running 4th. Taiki 5th. Özkan back down to 6th. He could lose 7th to Voiles. Could lose 6th to Voiles, who's in 7th. Fall down to... yeah. Özkan will fall down to 7th. Harvey could have him. Put him back down to 8th. Look at Fogelman. Good times there. Yep, Fogelman getting past Özkan as well. So Özkan's bold strategy not working out for him. He could very well lose. Yep, he's back in 10th spot now. 3 cars behind him who are a lap down, but Jenkins, of course, a very aggressive driver, and he'll want nothing to do with these drivers in front of him who aren't for position. Is Özkan going to lose 10th to Jenkins as well? He is. Again, the 2 Penske cars running together in this race. Özkan down to 11th. He could lose 11th to Burnett now. And he has. Özkan not having the good time that he was hoping for early in this race. About to lose positions now to Charlebois and Whitlock, it looks like. Now here comes Monaco. The man that he was fighting against for the lead very early on in this race. Monaco, of course, a lap ahead. 6 laps to go for him. Again, a bunch of dodges up in the clack here. Up in the clack? Oh my days, what am I doing? And Özkan gets slapped by Monaco. Thomas and Wolf also put a lap down, of course. Whitlock last of the cars on the lead lap now, but yeah, Özkan just having an absolutely torrid time. Just not sure what could have possibly gone wrong with that number 12 Altel Dodge there. Joey Trickle having a good time in second there again. Just running in a league of his own at present. Good times for him. Christian Bracken runs third. S.p.A has fourth. Ari Taiki fifth. Chris Harvey sixth. Jana Fogelman seventh. Daniel Voyle is eighth. Sabrina Futlago ninth. And rounding out the top 10 now is Matthew Burnett. But of course he has Leroy Jenkins to contend with here. How are things looking with Özkan? Özkan having fallen back massively here. Down to 16th. I believe he did he briefly hold the race? I don't think he ever led this race, actually, but he was definitely running second for a good portion of it, but now he's having to fend off against Wolf and Ebrahimian. White as well, so White is on the lead lap. Franco rounds out your top 20. Steve Morgan down in the bottom half of the running order in 21st here. Charlebois not having a good exit out of turn 4. He's going to lose position to DEI car Annie Thomas. Riley Spurley could be having a look at his position as well, so Charlebois also struggling here. Remember, he was running 11th earlier and clearly lisping, 3 laps to go for Eric Monaco here. Burnett trying to get past Montero Salin. Leroy Jenkins still running 11th. I don't think too much has changed here with this order, but of course Taiki and PK could be looking on for a good fight as well. Christian Bracken looking okay in third spot. I think she can be confident that that'll be her finishing position in this race. Where is Monaco? Where is Eric Monaco? There he is. Annie Thomas ahead of Charlebois. Charlebois having to fend off Riley Spurley here. Eric Monaco comes through turns 3 and 4. Back onto the front stretch now. Amy Hicks, a fellow Dodger in front of him. The white flag is out. This is the final lap. And Eric Monaco running an excellent race today. Of course, he spent a very good amount of it in third position, but thanks to the pit stops and the absolute kerfuffle causing the caution in the later stage of this race, he somehow managed to get himself promoted to leader with no real competition for the end of this race, for that race lead here. And here's your race winner here at Darlington. Again, we kind of screwed up the thing there. Oops. Joey Trickle, your second place car, led a lot of the early part of this race here, but he's going to have to settle for a second spot here. I doubt he's very much pleased with that. The GOAT was fastest in practice. Big deal. Steve Morgan beating the GOAT by 2/10 for the pole here. A lot of these times looking very close together. GOAT was fastest in happy hour, and how did Joe Allen do? 38th fastest lap. Eric Monaco, your race winner again. The Carolina Dodge dealers must be absolutely jumping for joy. I bet you have a lot of the populations of all the big towns like Charleston and Charlotte, surely, racing to their Dodge dealers to camp out for Monday, I guess. Is this race happening on a Sunday? I don't know. To buy themselves a new Dodge Charger, even if they don't really need one. What's an extra car when you already have 2 mortgages out? Eric Monaco wins the race today. Joey Trickle second, Christian Bracken third, Estacio PK fourth, Ryu Taiki fifth. Excellent races from all 3 of those drivers. Third, fourth, and fifth. Joey Trickle, I guess he had a good race too, but oops, he had to settle for second. Sad. Jana Fogelman, Daniel Voiles, Chris Harvey, Sabrina Futlego, and Matthew Burnett round out your top 10. Excellent stuff from them as well. Leroy Jenkins and Reagan Whitlock were the last of your lead lap finishers. 13th, Annie Thomas, first of the cars, 1 lap down. Then there's Antonin Charlebois, Riley Spurley, Samet Özkan, Eli Wolf, Dylan Ebrahimian, Brittany White, Alberto Franco rounding out your top 20. Steve Morgan settling for 21st position today, a net loss of 20 for him, the pole sitter. Agata Sato comes home 22nd. Then there are Max Davis, Lyle Austin, Harry Langestein, Mo Zane, Ashley Schadewald, and Montero Salin Amy Hicks, Colin Cropley, Joe Allen, Lucas Evans, and Gerald Pepper came home 2 laps down today. Gil Samaya, Bob and Flova, Mathis Wells, Reggie Fogelman, Patrick Smith, and Rocky Johnson all crashed out on lap 48, I believe it was. Andy Gilt retired on lap 27 or so with piston failure, it seems like. Definitely an absolutely disappointing, really disappointing time for Samaya and Smith, who were running at the top of the field until that accident, which was easily avoidable in their position, I must say. Eric Monaco shows some muscle at Darlington. He most certainly does, and now he's up to second spot in the standings. Next race, the Food City 500 at Bristol. Let's take a look at your season standings here. Eli Wolf still leads. I believe he finished outside the top 10 today, but with those 3 top 10s, he's obviously having an excellent run so far, but he only has 4 points in front of Eric Monaco, who now occupies second spot in the standings. Samit Özkan runs third. Christian Bracken fourth, after some excellent performances this season as well. Estacio PK fifth in the number 5, and Ari Utegi number 6 in the 6 car. Yeah, 5 and 6. Again, I just love that. That looks really nice and clean. Again, drivers that are putting in excellent performances in the top 10 this season, along with Charbonne and Wells, who occupy 7th and 8th so far. Ebrahimi in 9th. Despite not having a very notable race today. Futlego runs 10th. Good stuff for him. Reggie Fogelman up to 11th. Chris Harvey 12th. The Goff down to 13th after his DNF today. Riley Spurley 14th. Ashley Shadowald, your Daytona 500 winner, 15th here. Daniel Volas, Mo Zane, Joey Trickle, Bob and Floba, and Lucas Evans round out your top 20. Let's see if we can find out where... let's see. Okay. Yeah. Morgan, Trickle, and Davis are... Trickle will be up here somewhere, right? Did we mention Trickle already? Yeah, Trickle. Joey Trickle up to 18th, so, despite running 2 fewer races than everyone, finds himself in the top 20, so good stuff for him. Rocky Johnson, Leroy Jenkins, Andy Thomas, Adalberto Franco, Jana Fogelman, Patrick Smith. He obviously could have had a much better race today, and that probably could have propelled him into the points. He was even looking good for a win, possibly. Gil Samaya, Lyle Austin, Matthew Burnett, Montero Sound, Colin Cropley, Amy Hicks, Alga Santo, Reagan Whitlock, Gerald Pepper, Joe Allen, Harry Langestein, Brittany White. So Steve Morgan, again, a race to forget for him, but he has managed to get past both Martini and Sevilla. Max Davis in no man's land so far, behind Martini and Sevilla, but ahead at least of McGregor. So Max Davis fundamentally last in the standings. Not great. Definitely be hoping for better performances in the future. I think that Bristol is a track where engines don't matter nearly as much as grip and ability. Look forward to the next race, the 125 laps around Bristol Motor Speedway, the Food City 500. I think that's about it. It's been Hanafuda. It's been a time and a half, an honor, and I will see you in the next video.